some questions going, dang it, and I forgot to do the. I'm gonna have to look how to do those. What's happening, Fish and Friends? Welcome to another live. Myself, Debo, the man, the myth, the Dizzle, with me tonight. How are y'all doing? Randall, how are you?
I tell you what, these Nebraska kids are ridiculous. There was
Yeah.
one feller that had to go and get some drinks as he gave the hand side to the other kids across the street and
Oh.
pull it. He like, I don't know if he had a manual transmission or if he was just like had his car in neutral and was like revving it up and then did a burnout down the street. I was like,
Did
dude,
it? Did he do a donut? My camera is all jacked up here.
I really
There
wanted
we
to
go. Is that
get
better?
I talked to yeah, I talked to the old lady and I was like, we need to make cards so we can hold them up and like score and be like a 0.5 or a 2 or whatever. So yeah,
That's
that's a good
fun.
one.
Yeah. So your football experience sounds just as lame as mine watching the Hawks lose to Iowa State.
Mm,
Freaking joke. It's gonna be a rough season. Thing you have to remember is these are kids. Like we talked about it last time. The fans and everybody booing, and it's like, damn, it's like Spencer Petras is the quarterback, and they're like, I was reading comments of there was a post that's like, oh, Hawks ready to do battle this Saturday, and it's like all of them standing there, and I'm like, Petrus is up front. I'm like, oh gosh, I gotta like read these comments. Man, whew, they were a little rough in the comment section on old Petrus.
and is he a freshman, sophomore? What is he?
I think he's a junior or a senior. I forget what he is.
Oh, really? I don't remember last time I watched a game. I'm terrible, I guess, but yeah. But the thing is, it's like
Let's see.
even if you're a junior or a senior, you're still, God,
He's
how
a
old would you be?
senior,
Like
6'5", 230.
maybe
Iowa
21?
had. Also, I was looking to see if I could find his age. It doesn't show his age on here. Yeah, I don't even know if he's like able to drink a dad pop legally. Oh, Randall's are you over there? You over there crunching some clamshells, Randall?
No, I had to get
What you doing there?
ice. I got this little cooler next to me to get some Diet Dews out of.
Oh, the diet do game. Well, so I was gonna see if I could get like the questions and stuff going before, but I haven't figured that out. I might have to hit up Hellabass and figure out how the hell that stuff works because I wanted to do some of the like what do you call them?
This or that,
Well, I mean, we could do
or
that,
just
but no,
questions
like
in
polls,
general.
like polls.
Oh,
Yeah, I
okay.
was gonna do polls on some fish and stuff. I don't know how to do it. I'm not that
You,
smart with this stuff, so.
just do it
But
like a hashtag something or other, and then
well, I want people to weigh in. So, oh my gosh,
yeah. What?
Fat Boy Fishing.
Oh
Holy
Jesus.
smokes! Look at that.
What
Look at
is that?
his.
Where is he?
I pinned it. Oh my gosh, Nick. That is absolutely stellar, dude. Absolutely stellar. So let's see. Get your dad pops ready. Get something ready tonight. I don't know what the hell I need, but after watching that Iowa bucket and like,
Oh,
whew, that was rough. So fishing though, we're talking fall fishing. Temperatures. I think yesterday it was 87. I went out fishing, little afternoon session. Today I think it was like 68 for the high, maybe it touched 70. But fall temperatures are definitely getting here. Leaves are starting to change colors. I was talking not too long ago. The whole, the summer transition into fall, and some people are like, "Oh, it's too early for that." I'm like, Are you kidding me?" I'm like, "Here in Iowa, man, we've already got leaves changing, cool colors,
so
or cool temperatures, leaf colors. Like, it's
do you remember last year? How weird that was last year. How it like it's like, oh yep,
Michael.
fall's
Good
coming.
question.
Fall's gonna be here. It's right around the corner, and then winter
Fall's
never
here.
really
Oh,
showed
fall's
up.
gone.
Yeah, it's like fall never showed up, and then it's January and it's cold.
Yeah, dude. I mean, fall for us goes quick. Like we're already almost at the end of September. Next month is Halloween, and generally when we go
Mm-hmm.
out trick or treating on Halloween, kids are bundled up because it's cold as hell. So Dude, I don't know. So fall transition, if you're in the north, might be quicker than some other places where you can fall fish a lot longer. Here in Iowa, it goes pretty quick. But we're going to kind of go through some questions, stuff that I'm getting ready, stuff that I've already pinned a couple or marked a couple good questions, things that I'm going to be looking to use as we go into fall. Things are going to kind of work in the transition where it's kind of a lot of this or that type stuff. And just kind of go into that. So I'm going to rely on a bunch of you to drop questions. We're going to try to engage with you as much as we can tonight. Randy and I didn't really have a plan. I said, let's just talk fall fishing. So that's really where we're going with it. So we're going to rely on you all to drive this a lot. I didn't even have a giveaway ready because I was in the corner sulking, crying. But I think I'll do a Thunderhawk giveaway. Like I said, Thunderhawk sent me a bunch of stuff. I linked it in the description below. They're doing 20% off for the month of September. They said especially for me, they gave me a code. I'm not sponsored by them or anything. They're just good people, support me. They appreciate what I do. So I appreciate them sending stuff that I can share with all of you. So I'm going to be doing a Thunderhawk giveaway. I'll throw in a couple of my things. I did make some jigs the other day. I was bored. Imagine that. I had some free time, but I was hanging out in the garage waiting on some other stuff. So I made some tasty little jigs and stuff. We can do a giveaway, throw some of those in. But that's what we'll do. Nothing too crazy. I think, like I said, I just spent $100 and some sending giveaways and stuff out that I was behind on. That was just shipping. Not complaining. Obviously, it's my choice to give those away, but man, it gets expensive.
Hey,
and did I mention I've got a thermal printer?
I was just going to ask you. The real question is how's the thermal printer doing?
Dude, it's absolutely amazing. Amazing investment. Okay, so let's see. Let's get into some questions. Fishing this or that in the house. Always supporting the fishing channels. We appreciate you, man. You're a good dude. Appreciate what the hell's going on here? Appreciate you always being in lives. I don't know what the deal is. It's a little flimsy there, a little floppy mic
little
syndrome.
Flibby.
Okay.
Thermal printer.
Thermal printer. This or that, swim jig or chatterbait in the fall. Okay, so when I'm thinking going from summer to fall, what are you all thinking of as characteristics? I'm going to go through here and pin some more of these. What do you all think are characteristics of, okay, summer's kind of leaving, fall is here. This is a good one, Jeremy. So I'm not talking necessarily like conditions, but I'm talking like fishing conditions. What are you all thinking? Like, oh man, yep, fall fishing is definitely here, or it's almost here. We're going to cover some of that, but yep, leaves starting to change colors. Leaves are starting to fall. Yeah, especially in the north. One of my buddies was up north, Brando, fished. I don't remember where at in Wisconsin, but he said water temperature was like 66, I think, where he was fishing northern Wisconsin.
Jeez.
So yeah, I mean it's
water
getting down there.
Huh?
Yeah. Yep. Let's see. Here's a good one, Chris. I don't know how well I can answer that when I'm looking for a big bite. I don't know that I ever find those. Ooh, nice, David. Fish on a wake bait S waver. I've still never caught a fish on an S waver. I've only caught a swim bait fish on one of my custom painted jobbers. Actually, I should go grab that here while I'm talking. I spent some time today while I was waiting for the game. The girls were playing a game down here with me. Stubby Dog was asleep with me. And I was painting some baits.
Was asleep with his.
No, he never does that when I'm down here. So he leaves the pool.
He sneaks off and
he's like
tries to get us. Nothing to see here.
Nothing here. Jermaine, dude, the slobber knocker or die. I am loving the slobber knocker. I had a full day of fishing it. There's a few things. I'm probably going to release that video Monday. There's a few things of it I really like that I think are better than chatterbait, like a regular. There's some things that I think are kind of middle of the road, but I think it definitely does have some advantages over a regular chatterbait. Now, will I say it's better than a jackhammer? I don't know. That's subjective to anybody. I'm sure there'll be YouTube videos saying, "Well, I never fish a chatterbait again. The new best bladed jig ever." And then they go into a thing saying, "Yeah, it's pretty good, but I won't change it." And it's like, well, thanks for the clickbait title. But anyway,
Debo, real quick before you go on to what you're next, did you happen to see the pictures I sent you the other day?
What do you mean?
Yesterday, I think I sent you a couple of pictures.
The frogfish?
Frogfish. Dude.
Uh-oh.
Man. What happened?
Herb says Debo sounds like either the compressor or the stream is using the webcam mic. Do you have volume up on your side, Randy?
I just have
Anywhere?
just in my earphone.
Oh, is anybody else
Everything
getting an
is
echo?
muted.
There should be no echo. I mean, I'm going directly through my earbuds and mic. Nothing's playing over here, so there should be no echo. Unless my mic's jacked up.
I guess I'm hearing a slight little, like a fast tick, I guess. But that could just be background staticky.
Let me know. I'm gonna roll through.
It looks like
here and
everyone
see
sounds fine, so we're good.
Is that what they said? People are saying sounds good?
Yep, sounds fine. No echo.
No echo, no echo. No, sounds
Yep.
good to me. Sounds crispy. Okay, yeah, I don't know what would be. There's nothing different. It's my mic. So, okay, so let's see to the ones that I have. Ooh, Randall Pink Floyd, good call. I'm not a vertical jig guy. So like down in the South, if we can get, why am I blanking on his name? Baskeek, if we can get Hank in here. Like the Demiki rig is a big thing down there, which is essentially just a little jig head with some sort of, kind of finesse plastic on it. And they're essentially just jigging it vertically, kind of like you would do ice fishing when the water starts to cool down. Or I know they do it in like deeper water. I think summer fishing. I'm not obviously a Demiki rig expert. I'm not a deep fishing expert. But I know they do that in like the reservoirs, the clear water reservoirs and stuff down there. But I am definitely not an expert at that.
God, that stuff.
Patrick, no temps higher than 82 degrees next 2 weeks, Eastern Pennsylvania. Sounds like pre-transition. Sounds like transition to me too, man. Here we've got, I should have had that up and ready because I was going to talk about that and it's not necessarily when you get a snap like last week or the week before. We had a cold snap where it was down to like 60, but I'm talking like consistent temperatures because it was like 87 yesterday, right? So if we look at temperatures now, here in good old Iowa, for the next 10 days, we're pegged at barely reaching 80. So 60s, mid 60s tomorrow and Monday through the week, and then all the way to next Monday, 76. So we're already at that spot where we're no longer even reaching 80 degrees, So we're there as far as temperatures go. But let's see, what do you all, I asked the question before, what do you all think of fishing? Like when you're looking at fishing, here's a good one, Jared. We can start with that one. Actually, here's a really good one, Philip. If I'm wearing a hoodie, I'm throwing a lipless, bundled up more, I'm wearing a jerkbait. Dude, that is like spot on. Once it starts to get hoodie weather, slowing down a little bit, switching some things up, not necessarily slowing down my fishing, but slowing down how we would normally move, because once you start to find those fish piled up, you hear on the big lakes, oh yeah, they're going to start to move to the, the secondary points and in the back of the creeks and all this and that. Small lakes and stuff, you're not going to see that. So if you're fishing the small lakes like we have around here, yeah, finding those spots where those fish are starting to pile up, and you can just absolutely hammer them, especially as you get deeper into fall. Like last year, if y'all remember that video, Brando and I went out. He was on his John boat, I was on mine, and absolutely crushed him on a jerkbait. And Randy and I have had days like that later in the fall, especially on a lipless. We've had really good luck on a lipless. I remember that's been a couple years ago. We were throwing like gold liplesses and silver, and we kept breaking off in like brush piles.
What are they? The chrome and
that was right in that fall transition time. Like I think we had long sleeves on. I think we had hoodies on in the morning, and then transitioned to long sleeves, kind of later in the day. So it's that where it's like it was damn chilly. I think we could see our breath, but then it warmed up. Same with when we went out with old Johnny. Same thing there. We were catching them on lipless. He found them all piled on a big point and drop off. Yep, and he was throwing throwing a jerkbait. He was throwing a jerkbait, like white and purple jerkbait.
Wasn't it like?
I don't remember how big it was, but then Randy and I got on him with
PB. Yeah.
Oh really? Oh wow.
Yeah.
And then we got on him with lipless crankbaits, yo-yo and lipless crankbaits. So.
And it was really cool because you could, it's when you're throwing a lipless, you want to have some sort of contact. As obviously you don't really want that wood contact a whole lot because you're probably going to get snagged. But if you're pulling it and you're ticking the tops of the grass, or you're even getting it down in there and doing a hard yo back up and ripping it out of the grass, that's when I think it's the rip out of the grass gets their attention, and then the flutter back down when you kind of kill it or whatever. We killed them that day, man. That was awesome.
So here's kind of here's a line of actually here's a really good line of what I was talking about. So when I asked you guys the question earlier, what do you think of not just like I want to say external factors. I don't know if that's the thing. Thinking like things that I see around here, but when I was asking like actually on the water, like what are you seeing? So Randall Pink Floyd, dying vegetation, juvenile shad are running. Yep. So when you start to see those shad, running after your bait, like you feel like you're getting bites and you're setting the hook. You're like, damn, what the hell? And you start to bring in a buzzbait and you see like those little shad balls coming after it. Perfect time. Or you'll see like when you're going out. I remember last fall, I was on one of my local lakes and it almost looked like it was raining and it was little tiny shad popping around. It wasn't raindrops, little tiny shad and fish pushing them. That's kind of getting in more. Whoops, sorry, hit you. That's kind of getting more into fall, but still you're going to start to see that. So dying vegetation is a really good one. In the summer you see you can fish really deep. You can still fish shallow, but if you can find that good green, rich, vegetation, find the grass, find the bass. That's one of the big summer things. Like Randall Pink Floyd saying, that's going to start dying off. Rob, another good one here. So I don't know what he was replying to Michael. What was Michael's? Okay. So topwater frog during the fall transition, yes or no? So Rob said, I'll throw a frog until the vegetation starts to die off. So that's a really good point. The other thing is you don't have to put the frog away, and you'll see that in the video. I went out last night, caught a few in a pond. You don't have to have vegetation like slop and pads and scum to throw a frog. If you think fish are shallow, you can still throw it around, wood, especially as a bank angler, throwing it around, lay down wood, brush, under overhangs. Like if you notice shad, or up in there, you could throw a walking bait like a spook or a popper, but from the bank, if you get a treble hook bait up in there, you're probably going to lose it from the bank. So from a frog, throw a small frog. I was catching them on the monster bass frog that I got in the box, which was a lunker hunt. And I'm not lying. When I opened up the box and I saw the thing that was lunker hunt, I literally went, oh, Jesus. Because I for sure thought it was going to be like some stupid dragonfly or the spider. Yeah. It wasn't, thank gosh. And it was, I had to go to because I'd never heard of the frog. I went to the Monster Bass website to watch the unboxing. Apparently it was a Dick's exclusive. So I actually had really good luck with it. It's a solid little frog. And I've looked on their site before when Rick asked me to make the box. And I'm like, there's not a frog on here I'm real confident in. This frog's pretty nice. Super stout, sharp hooks. So
the one thing I'll kind of touch on with that as well is, so when I was out the other day, I noticed there was still actually a good amount of scum, but it was scum, and I don't know what kind of duckweed, feather, duck, I don't know what kind of, I don't know what it was, but you could see it was starting to turn a little bit. And I was casting into it, into the middle of it, trying to work through the open pockets in it. And I wasn't getting any bites. Literally the first cast I took on the edge line of that grass. So I managed to land it, just right on the edge of it, where it was going to go, depending on the reel back, a little bit into open water, a little bit back into the scummy stuff, back and forth, and caught a fish right away. So that's the other thing that I look for if I'm going to try to throw some topwater, is some kind of line like that, like what we've talked about with the lipless before. You want to look for that grass line and kind of fish that. So same kind of concept there.
Yep. Yeah. And with the frog, like for me, a general rule of thumb is like low 60s. I just think there's better options than a frog. I know as crazy as that sounds. A buzzbait, once the waters start getting colder, like, man, they will crush a buzzbait. A walking bait is usually my thing for the fall. I absolutely love that bite. You can still throw a popper and stuff, but you can't really cover water as much with a popper. So it's more of like an isolated target deal. Like if you saw fish popping and chasing bait, you can throw it that way. But like a buzzbait or a walking bait just do so much better than a frog. You can cover water. It mimics bait better. But a frog is kind of like that 4x4. So Chris actually, another Iowa boy. Chris has been on the channel before. He fished a local lake that I fish a lot. Y'all have seen me fish before. He had a tournament today, and I think they said, Chris, what did you say you took? He's probably in here still. I think second he said he got. He texted me earlier.
Nice.
I think he said he got second. So one, congrats on that, brother. Let me see. What did he say?
Heck yeah.
He said second. Yeah, second at the lake. So he said Grass is starting to die off. Yep. So I'll be looking for the good green grass. Yes. So once you start to find that brown, gross, moldy stuff, don't even waste your time. Usually, I'm not going to say never, but usually no. If you find the good green, rich stuff still holds the oxygen, generally they're going to be in there. But he said also rocks were the key today. Now, right now, we're still kind of in that time for us here in Iowa where you can get on a number of different bites. You could still be fishing grass lines. You could still be fishing around wood, shallow wood. You could be, throwing crankbaits around rocks. To me, this is that kind of time where you can roll the dice and really get on a number of different things because, we've had fish chasing bait here. We've had fish that are still shallow. Like I said last night, I had an awesome night fishing grass lines, and none of them were in the grass. I think maybe 2. I caught probably 20 fish, and almost every single one besides I think 2 really were all on the edge of it, all on the edge of the scum and grass lines.
Yeah, this is definitely the time of year I think where you don't wanna handcuff yourself with, just taking 1 or 2 rods out to the water and, 1 or 2 different type of baits. You wanna definitely be open to throwing whatever and just, like you said, giving it a whirl, trying everything.
Yep. Nick said, yeah, they got 66 water tents up north of Green Bay, so up even more north of us. Let's see. I did pin a couple here. So real quick, Michael, what's your take on topwater frog? Oh, that was actually part of one of those we answered. So Michael, thank you for asking that one. Mr. Randall William Sully, Devin, Debo, how do you get a buzzbait to run straight? Mine always seem to run on the side, albeit I've only used a googie one. Randy probably sent that to you. He probably did that just so you'd buy more and be like, oh, just buy more of them googies. Buy a box.
Calm down here. Calm down here. I will say, and I've even seen videos that they themselves have made where I think it was like a Lojo video because apparently he loves using buzz baits. And he's like, oh, you gotta straighten this one out a little bit, or said something like you gotta tweak it a little bit to make sure it runs straight and things like that. And to me, that's like the last thing I ever want to do when I'm taking a brand new lure out of a box. I don't want to have to adjust it right away.
Yeah, and honestly, with buzzbaits, I still have not found. So this is actually one of the few buzzbaits. Now I don't run a trailer on this one. If the buzzbait itself, when I'm running a skirted buzzbait that's pretty small, so you can see this is pretty small in like, a compact stature. It's not a big, huge, flowy. If it's a pretty small skirted buzzbait, I do not run any sort of trailer like plastic on it. This does have a plastic keeper. Most of the time I will run a trailer hook because you get swipes all the time on a buzzbait. If you've never run a trailer hook on a buzzbait, do it because they come up and slap at it. But this is actually one of the few I haven't. Now, I don't know if this is great advice because I've not absolutely slayed them on this one, but this Jackal Firecracker is super loud. And the days that I fished it were not great, like topwater days. But the Jackal Firecracker has been one for me. I've got, I think, 3 or 4 of these. I gave Dad one. We were fishing them. Has run super straight, but it's a little bit heavier wire. You can see when I move that, a little bit heavier, stouter wire. Now, the key to getting your buzzbait to tune it is kind of like a spinnerbait. So if it's kicking off, you're going to steer it with your blade. I don't know how well this is going to show, but okay. So this is coming toward the camera. So if I'm reeling in and it's coming toward the camera, I'm going to move my blade the opposite way to steer it. So if it's going this way, I'm going to bend the blade, this top part, this way to get it to steer it this way. I don't know if that made sense. I probably should do a video on that and show you out on the water. But honestly, I don't think there's very many buzzbaits that you pick up and don't have to tune even out of the box. Like, I don't know. Maybe other people have better luck, but I'm usually always tinkering with my buzzbaits, and they never run like completely straight up and down. They'll always usually kick over to the side one way. Now they'll run straight. Like after I cast them out, they'll come in straight, but they'll usually be canted just a little bit. I struggle to find one, especially once you start putting plastics and stuff on them, that always run completely straight up and down. So I wouldn't worry about it a lot. Like I said, they kind of come up and grab and swipe and explode on them. So that's my advice. Maybe that's not the best advice, but I'm not a pro. I'm a Debo in his basement. What's your go-to fall bait when you're looking for a bigger bite? So, Chris, I won't say that I'm looking for a bigger bite, but I will say when I'm looking for fish in the fall, don't be scared to find and focus on those spots where you're catching fish. So, in the fall, there's like, let's say I'm fishing a point or something. There's been spots or times where, I'll catch 2 or 3 dinks and other people would have moved on, or will be fishing behind people, who catch a couple little ones and just pretty much have their trolling motor on. In the fall, if you can find those fish stacked up, especially as you get later into the fall, where they're like you were saying earlier, stacked up on those rocks that are going to hold heat, or like metal dock things that could be holding heat. Anything that you find a pile of fish, don't be afraid to wade through some of those smaller fish to get a bigger bite. Like that's kind of the way I go. Now, like, I'm not the best, obviously, at targeting the biggest fish. I know, like Fish in the Southeast was saying, oh yeah, throw those big swim baits. I'm not the guy to do that. I'm not out there hucking a big, huge, giant swim bait. But I guess that's one of my tips would be, don't just like keep it on full blast and be scanning through everything like you would in the dead of summer. If you find them, oftentimes you'll find them piled up and you can find a few of them.
Yeah, I 100% agree with that. I mean, Debo, we're probably the best people that never do this. I mean, we say it all the time, don't leave fish to find fish. And this is one of the best examples of it. It's like, if they're there, they're going to be, schooled up. They're going to be there. Fish them until they're all fished out, or until your thumb hurts and you want to go try to find something somewhere else,
Yeah, I just love catching fish. Like I need to focus on that more. And I know during the summer it's tough because when I have more free time to fish, they're usually deeper. And I would love to get with somebody for like a week, like have a week off and go out with some pro that's like, okay, I love deep water fishing. This is all I do. And just learn from them, because I mean, it's a glaring weakness in my fishing, but it's so dependent on electronics. Like, to me, deep water anglers don't just go out blind, like in a John boat like me. They've got electronics. They're using the side, down scan, live imaging, heat seeking imaging, whatever the hell they have now. You have to be good at electronics. And I never grew up with fancy electronics. So, but I would love to get into it more.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, boy, I feel like I've been talking a lot here. Sorry. What do we have for questions? What we got for questions? Oh my gosh, that's funny. Jeremy Breed, Monty Potterbaum went to his high school. That's funny. He's the one that dropped the football on the half-inch yard line today.
The half-inch yard line.
It was right at the goal.
I think Gramps is still a little bitter about the whole frog fishing.
Is Gramps in here? I haven't got to that yet. Yeah, Michael Bradley said the amount of daylight has a lot to do with it. Dude, yeah, last night I was packed up at 7:45, and during the summer you're like out past 9 fishing. So the days are definitely getting shorter. Illuminathan, yeah, you nailed it right there. I got some awesome topwater bites this week. Full moon plus cooler weather. Yep. Fun topwater. Yeah, and it's not like once the summer, I think that's another thing people kind of fall into is, during the summer when it's real hot, topwater early in the morning, late in the evening, and then once it starts to cool down, they just kind of drop topwater. But man, fall, you can absolutely crush them, down into that, like 55 is kind of the range for me. But I think they bite topwater longer, right when you're kind of dropping down to that 55-ish degree point. Whereas like in the spring, when it's slowly, steadily climbing up past that 50 degrees, I feel like it kind of has to be there longer for them to really hit it here anyway. So basically my message is don't give up on topwater too early. You can fish a buzzbait, dude. You can put a buzzbait in your hand and fish that thing all day. Like, shower, drop-offs, point. Like,
the bigger thing about it is, they're getting to that point where, they're like, oh man, it's getting cold. I need to eat. So they're going to be chasing anything and everything. If you can find them and get them at that good time, they're, like you said, you could fish topwater all day long.
Yeah, absolutely. Yep. It's not where you have to wait for, we need cloudy skies and low light. And yeah, man, you can hammer them. They can be up and out all day. Dustin, I wish I could, man. My old lady works tomorrow, so I will be home hanging out with the girls. Otherwise I would, dude. I know we were going to get together this year. We haven't made it happen, but Hopefully soon, my man. Let's see what else. I know there was a good question coming up here. Where was it? Throwing frogs. Oh, was throwing frogs on Chick last December. Damn, dude. I envy you. I wish I could throw frogs in December. I mean, we could skip frogs across the ice, Randy. We could see who could skip the frog the farthest.
I remember there was a day last year where I was like, oh, it's so nice that it's got to be open water by now. And it wasn't. And I was out there with a jig because, you know, springtime, and I'm out there pitching, and it's that thin ice. And I was hoping maybe if I just pitch this real hard, it can break through. But no, it didn't.
Weight it down. Brian, good question. Does the size of the bait make a huge difference in the fall? So I'm in the camp. I'm maybe not the best advice here, but I'm in the camp of smaller bait because you're going to have the shad. If you're in shad lakes, you're going to have the shad and, you know, the other bait fish that are pushing up that are smaller, that those fish are keying in on, especially shad. You'll see those yearling shad that are real small. That's generally what I will pursue, like throwing a small popper. Actually, I know I just said don't throw a popper, but I've had really good days throwing a small popper like that along the rocks for whatever reason, along rock lines. It's kind of the, I guess, non-norm because you usually think of a popper as like the target stuff. But now that I say that, throwing a real small, it was a Gary Yamamoto black and silver. I don't know if they even make them anymore, but I had an amazing day when fish were chasing bait up shallow on my local lake. Randy, were you going to say something?
No, I was just going to say, yeah, like I said it earlier, you just don't handcuff yourself. There's so many options this time of year that you've no idea what anything's going to be biting on. Give it a whirl, give anything a try. If it seems ridiculous, I would still do it, but that's just me.
Yeah, the other side of the coin is throwing the bigger baits. So the guys that are, you know, slow rolling the hoodies, or, you know, the big glide baits or swim baits. Clearly that's not my wheelhouse. But I know a lot of guys will go to those larger baits to, you know, focus on that 1 or 2 bites, you know, of those big fish. I will say throwing a bigger paddle tail swim bait, I have had success on. That's actually how I caught my PB 7-pound bass, throwing a bluegill swim bait, slow rolling it in the fall. I think that was, I'd have to go back and look at pictures, but I think that was October. So we're kind of coming up on that, but slowing down a little bit. You know, Randy and I talk about it, fishing jigs. You know, as that water is getting colder, especially once you start getting down past that 55 degrees, you know, really slowing down your presentation, especially if you're somebody like me who tends to fish fast anyway. You know, either going to a slower reel or just consistently telling yourself, you know, I need to slow down, especially like when I work a jerkbait. Because especially after you catch a couple fish, or the opposite side, you haven't caught any fish for a long time, I tend to work quicker. So I catch a couple, then I'm all excited, and then I'm working this jerkbait quick. Or I fish for 2 hours, haven't caught anything, then I just start getting pissed. You know, I'm fishing too fast. You know, you're losing your patience. So I guess that's one thing for me as it's really starting to cool down. That's kind of later fall, watching my speed and tempo.
The crazy thing, Debo, is I know you don't really do this that much, but I have my earpods with me all the time where I can just throw music in. And I have noticed in the past there's been days where it's like colder weather, and like just listening to different types of music, slower music, things like that will help me like subconsciously slow down too. So if anybody is a music listener while you fish, you know, keep that in mind also. Like it's crazy to think, but if I'm listening to something faster, more up tempo, and maybe a little bit more aggressive, I'm going to fish probably faster versus something a little bit slower.
Yep. Let's see. Okay, so that was the one we answered. So I think I'm good on those. Jermaine says he wants to try a wake bait. I need to try just like more glide baits this fall. I really need to focus on just putting a glide bait in my hand for a whole day and being like, okay, actually, hold on, I'll grab this. While we're talking about a couple questions here, there was a couple of good ones. Fish in the Southeast asked one about gear. Buzzbaits are made not to run straight. Yeah, I can't get any of mine to run 100% completely straight ever. So I know some people will intentionally bend them to like cant to one side or the other to like, well, what's the word? Not the actual bait, but to like fish to one side or the other. So if they're throwing it against a dock, so like let's say the dock's here, I'm casting out to it. They'll make it so it goes under the dock and tends to run that way. So I know some people will intentionally bend it like that, but I still have to find one that's like, oh man, this runs straight always, every day. Okay, what else do we have here? G-Fan in the house. What's up, G-Fan? And Matthew in the house. He's saying hey to G-Fan. What's up, fellas? Appreciate you guys. Rob Harrison in the house. You got some new wake baits. I'm still not a wake bait lover. I just don't know how to not that I don't know how to fish them. I just don't know it's like those perfect conditions. I need to find a day and just roll with those. Gramps in the house. Speak of the devil and he shall appear. Ephraim in the house. Ephraim was a winner. Appreciate you, Ephraim, watching. Liza in the house. Let's see. Pouring down rain. Yeah, we got the rain here too, Gramps.
Yep.
What else? Small bait. Yep. So we got other people talking about the small baits versus the big baits.
I mean, just to touch back on that, I'm a small bait type of person either way. So
yeah, it's in I go in waves. There's sometimes where I really enjoy fishing the kind of finesse stuff on a spinning rig. I mean, 90% of the time, I'd rather have a bait caster in my hand. It's just more comfortable. But there's something fun about getting on one of those good little finesse bites with, a spinning rig, and you start to hear that drag zipping, and it's fun. I like it.
No, you just need to tighten your drag up more, Debo. It's way too loose.
Oh, like the drag fairy that always loosens your drags whenever you get out of your truck. I don't know what happened. Oh, my drag loosened up.
You remember how much crap you got after that one time where I almost dove headfirst into the water trying to catch that one or land that one big fish for you, and then you horsed it and snapped it off? Like, I think we're like 97% of the comments were like, "Tighten up your damn drag, you idiot." It's like, whoa, calm down.
I was running a 6-pound leader. That I didn't break off on that fish. That fish just threw it at the bank. I broke off on a different fish and lost it. And that's like one of the biggest things I absolutely freaking hate. There's no excuse to break fish off ever. That's right. 99% of the time, that's your fault, unless they get you like in rocks or in wood. 99% of the time, if you're breaking off fish in open water, that is 100% your fault. And I was trying a 6-pound leader, and I just, so then I had my drag way down. I put on an 8-pound leader. I didn't have 10-pound with me. Put on an 8-pound, and I turned it down. And the thing is, you don't want to smash a hook set with a light wire hook on a spinning rod and never have any drag pulling out. Now, you don't want to. I did have it obviously a little bit loose. I will admit that, but I would rather err on the side of having it a little bit loose than way too tight, because you're going to lose a ton of fish.
Oh yeah.
If you're fishing a light wire hook, you slam that hook set on a spinning rod and you don't have any drag pulling out, you're going to lose fish. I don't care what you say. Got to play drag on the finesse stuff. Let's see. People talking about War Eagle buzzbaits. Illuminathan, I think Iowa will be lucky to get 5 wins this season, to be honest. What's a good combo? Oh, that's a wide open question. I like combo talk, rods and reels. Do we have some more rods and reel questions? What else do we have here? I'm a little behind. 8:09, 38 minutes. In an hour, we'll do a random winner. Like I said, if you're just getting in, Thunderhawk, I linked it below. They have a 20% off code. They did for me. I'm not sponsored by them or anything. They just sent me a bunch of stuff, did a code and said, hey, we'll share this with you. Your subscribers, friends, whoever's watching, get 20% off. They sent me some extra stuff to do a giveaway. So appreciate them supporting me and my channel. They said they like the stuff. Appreciate me helping people out. So good folks, if you want to buy some. Yeah.
Real quick, to 812, you did get a donation as well. I know you're about there, but I just wanted to give you a heads up.
Okay, thank you. I will make sure I hit that. It doesn't skip over it. Let's see here. Questions on that, of course. Cecil, that's pretty easy. The difference between pitching and flipping and punching. So pitching and flipping is talking about the way in which you're presenting the bait. So flipping, traditional flipping is where you, how do I explain this? You let out enough line that you can use it with your hand. You're not ever even clicking over the reel. Funny enough, I don't have any reels here.
It's really going to be like a short distance type of, you're looking for a very specific target that you know isn't that far away. You want to be very precise with it.
Yeah, so you're pulling out enough line here. I don't ever click this over. I'll have probably out past my rod tip 8 to 10 feet of line. And I'm going to take the line, I'm going to flip it with my rod and then let it go with just the line. Now, when I'm pitching, I'm going to hold the bait. I'm going to click the thumb deal on your bait caster, flip it, let the bait go out, and then engage my reel. So, and I just said flipping while I was talking about punching or pitching. Good Lord, and I just threw punching in there. So hopefully this is as clear as mud to you, Cecil. Flipping is, real close distance stuff. I'm not even using my reel. I'm just using the amount of line I can use with my arm. Pitching, I'm going to use my bait caster. I'm going to click it over, zzz, let it out, kind of short, underhanded casts. Punching is when you're around like real thick vegetation, you're using a heavy weight. And you could be casting with it. You could be throwing it up in the air, letting it grenade down. But really, punching is just using a weight heavy enough to get through the vegetation. Oftentimes, it's like a canopy, and then you're punching through that to get down to those fish hiding under it. So it's kind of a few different things there. But Gramps, make sure you do support Gramps. I did link his stuff down below. I listed American Legacy. I've been buying, actually, do I have that stuff here? I was just showing Dad that. I'll grab that too, give you a first look. But I just picked up a used reel from Legacy and a new rod from American Legacy. So use Gramps' code. I used it, saved 10%. They're nice folks over there. And you support Gramps. He's a good cat. Okay, so Josh with the $5 bomb. Josh, I will drink to that. Thank you, sir. Have you ever fished near Wisconsin Dells or Portage? No, I have not. I've been there a lot of times to the Dells. I've never fished up there, so I am no help. I feel bad that you donated $5 for me to tell you that I've been there a lot and never fished it. However, I have fished. The nice thing is we actually fished quite a few lakes. I'm guessing are you fishing places that are pretty clear, a lot of docks and vegetation lines right now, Josh? Let me know if you're still in here, because we have quite a few places that we fish like that. Not necessarily the docks. Like Lake McBride is one near us that has quite a few, but I mean up there, like the lakes just have docks everywhere. And a lot of the lakes we have here are man-made that don't have a ton of people like living on them. But let me know, and I can try to help you there if you have questions on.
Yeah, I would definitely kind of go that same route and assume that it's lots of docks, probably pretty clear water. That whole. I really want to go fishing right now, but it's.
Oh, John, that's another good one. Yeah, as that water cools down, instead of the big, wide, searching hunting motion of like a square bill or some of the other crankbaits, a flat-sided square bill is just going to have a tighter action, kind of more of like that lipless. If you fish like a lipless crankbait, more of that look, and they tend to do better in that colder water. So you have like the Fritz sides, the Chick Magnet, the Ott's Garage.
Sorry, did you say squirble?
Squirble. Let's see what else. I'm probably not to the gear questions yet. I asked people to ask gear questions. I don't know that I've gotten to it yet. People talking back and forth about stuff. Let's see.
What time are you at?
Zero says my dad loves to break off on hook sets. LOL. Let's see. I am at 816. 816.
Gotcha.
What's the code? Ken Klein. What was the code for what?
Gramps' code, maybe?
Guessing that. Or if it was the Thunderhawk, it should be Debo Fishing, no S. And it should be in the description. I think I put it down there, right? Yeah, Debo. Oh, it's Debo Fishing 20. 20% off through the end of September at Thunderhawk. Otherwise, I've got an Omnia code down there for Rich Hellabass. Support him. And then Gramps is down there as well. Gramps 10 if you're going over to American Legacy. Those should all be in the description of the video down below. Let's see. I'm going to go grab my glide bait. Kuda in the house. What's up, Mr. Murphy? How are you, sir?
Let's, real quick, if you want to go to 820, what's it, Westfall Outdoors?
Not Westfall.
It's, the question is, I think you can probably still hear me, but hey, Debo just got up. Everybody's going to drink too, so. The question is, what size / diving depth jerkbait do you prefer in the fall?
That's going to depend where the fish are at and where you're fishing. So most of them are going to be like a 3 to 5 or a 3 to 6. It's going to be suspending for sure. So as that water gets colder, I want that jerkbait to and then just die right there. Stop.
So before you move on real quick, because you talked about suspending, do you pay attention to how the suspending happens? If it's back down, front lip down, or if it's like a straight across, like a I guess horizontal, completely horizontal suspend? Is that important to you, I should say?
Not as much to me. I know some people really, really get into that. You know, if it's a dead shad, how's it going to die? Is it going to die tail down or is it going to die nose down?
Probably both.
For me, the big thing, I don't know. I've heard people talk both ways, and people have, you know, some people will get it to suspend so it's just barely nose down, like with a bigger hook. The bigger thing for me is to make sure it's a true suspending jerkbait, not floating, not sinking, that it's a true suspending, and I'm not farting around with it once I stop it. That's the biggest thing. Is like if you pop, and then instead of just letting it sit there, you're reeling up your line and you're messing with it and moving it. That's a huge no-no. Once you do a suspending jerkbait, pop, and then pause it, that jerkbait should just sit there. Your line should be slack and then pop. So it should only be moving when you jerk it. There should never be times in between where you're like moving it and then you're like reeling it and it's doing this. 99% of the time, maybe not that high. 90% of the time, you're going to get bites when it's just sitting there. Then when you go to jerk it again, you'll feel like a big spongy weight on it. There's already a fish there. So that's the biggest thing for me, is just not moving that bait while it's sitting there. But so I was talking about glide baits. This is one from, I painted up today, spent some time on it, did like a bloody claw bite mark out of it, bleeding shad.
The Wolverine got him.
Yeah, Wolverine. Hugh Jackman got him. This is a resin bait. It's like a, what do they call it? Horsehair brush tail. Whatever that a local guy does and sells to a company. So I picked up one. They're like $50, but the action is supposed to be pretty good on it. I like that it has the really big eyes, like the exaggerated, I don't know, I'm guessing those are maybe a 12 millimeter eye. So need to get the eyes on that, but that was a lot of fun today. I don't know. That's one that's not too big. It's, I think, 7. Where's my measuring tape? I think it's a 7-inch jerkbait. So 3, 4, 5, 6.5 inches jerkbait or glide bait. So I don't know. We'll try that. That was a lot of fun to paint today. I like doing the scar thing, trying to get that dialed in. So American Legacy, if y'all haven't checked them out, I got this. I picked this up during their sale. So that's the SLX MGL. I told you all I like that reel enough that I thought I was going to buy another one. I did. Basically brand new, very good condition or excellent condition. I don't remember what it was, for $100. So use Graham's code. I think that's a regular $150 something reel. And then paired it with the new SLX rod line. These look pretty damn sweet, man. I like the looks of them a lot. Comfortable in hand. I gave it to Dad today. He's like, ooh, that's a nice little outfit. He's like, did you get this for me? I'm like, well, you can use it after I do the review. He's like, oh, no, I'm just kidding. He's like, but I'm probably going to take that home. So we were joking about that. But yeah, Dad really liked it. He's like, I like this reel. I've never used these SLXs. I was trying to con Dad into getting on the live with us. He was actually upstairs. They were here, watched the game with us. We had just got pizza right before. Finally got it. So that's why I was right at time, maybe a little late, but they were upstairs eating pizza. So he said, no, we're going to be going soon. Blah, 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 blah.
Hey, if you want to just take a semi step back real quick, do you have a specific jerkbait that you like?
Yeah, so the first one that I really gained confidence in was the Lucky Craft pointer, and it was the less expensive one. Lucky Craft has a few. Actually, we can go look now. I don't think they make them anymore. At least they're not as like produced. But that was the first one that I like really got into hardcore, had a lot of luck with. Let's go over to Tackle Warehouse and see what they've got. I will share. The 6 Sense Provoke is a really good one. I think it dives to like 6 feet. The Berkeley Stunna. That one's a slow sink though. And those have kind of been half and half. I had one that suspended really well this spring. And I remember I tried fishing one last fall and it sank at a decent rate. It was definitely not suspending. So I'm trying to think. The I'm a Flit is a really good jerkbait, but we can go look at a couple of those real quick. So the Lucky Craft pointer is actually pretty expensive, like the real pointer. But there was one that was less expensive that I had awesome luck in their ghost minnow color. It was the Lucky Craft. Actually, I think I got the. Was it the 110 lightning pointer? Is this 6 to 7 feet? Gosh, I think it might have been this one. I got them on sale for like $5 or $6 a long time ago. But anyway, that was like the first one. These are a little bit more expensive, but I know these are ones that people like. I mean, you can get to some of these like $27. That's ridiculous. I don't think you need to spend more than like $9 on a jerkbait. There's plenty of good options, but that was the first one that I really gained a bunch of confidence in. Of course, the Mega Bass Vision 110. I've only recently got my hands on those. I've only caught a few fish on them. But like I said, 6 Sense Provoke, Berkeley Stunner. I'm a Flit. I've actually had quite a few really good days on. And I like that one a ton. So this one here, they've got 2 sizes, and I like the bigger size. I don't like the smaller size. I like the larger 120. $9, $10.
So I will say, if anybody's like looking to get into like jerk baits and things like that, personally myself, the Bass Pro either XPS suspending minnow or the XTS suspending minnow, those things are like, God, I'm thinking they're $4 or $5 at most, like on any given day. Well, actually, I have it up here. They are, it looks like $4, $3.99 a piece. I've had amazing luck on those in that same ghost shad color or similar ghost shad. And then they have like an olive ghost shad also that you get see, this ghost shad is more of a clear color. And then the olive has just an olive color along the top of it. I really like those, and I've had a lot of really good luck on those. And I don't feel bad if I, hang one in a tree on accident, because it's only $4 versus 10,
Yep. Yeah, I feel like that 10-ish, because the thing is, like, even painting my own baits, like if you cheap out and go, I got some like jerkbait blanks to paint, but they were hard as hell to get to suspend. So you have to go to like the more, they call them like the high quality blanks or whatever, you get it from certain spots. And they essentially mimic a Vision 110. And you can just get them tuned a lot easier to be able to suspend. So that's one thing, is like you might spend a little bit more with some of these, but like the Flits will stop right there. The Stunners, for the most part, minus that one that I fished last year that sunk, I fished a couple of those that have fished well, Provokes. So I would just say find one that you're confident in and fish it.
Definitely. And it does take some practice, so don't get frustrated if you start throwing it and it's not working right. It's all about that cadence and figuring out what kind of cadence they want, and don't be scared to obviously vary that cadence up all the time.
Okay, so Pimpaw Fishing, he asked this, and I just see that he updated the question. What's our favorite buzzbait and favorite frog? Let's go back over since we were sharing. Favorite buzzbait and favorite frog. Frog is a tough question.
Debo's like, hey guys, I'm out of here. I'm not. I don't want to play anymore. We'll see if he comes back. He's probably gonna make some kind of excuse of I don't know. Oh, hey buddy, how's it going?
I hit back on the wrong tab. Whoops. So let me go back to sharing here. But frogs are kind of tough because I go back and forth. I like to try different ones. I kind of go in spurts. But I would say if you're just starting out, if you're not real comfortable with frogs, a Booyah Pad Crasher is for the buck, one of the best frogs out there. I mean, I've caught tons and tons of fish on. Used to be able to get them at Walmart for like $5. What are you laughing at?
I'm sorry, Fat Boy just said, Debo had to check on the printer.
Sorry, I had to jump out real quick and check on my thermal printer.
I'm gonna say, as far as the frogs are concerned, I don't throw buzzbaits very often, really, hardly ever, really. But the frog, I've really, really kind of fallen in love with the Spro.
Oh, the Spro frog, yeah, that's what I was gonna say. That's one of the other standards. Like, to me, the Spro frog is what everything else is measured by. It's not the cheapest. Mm-hmm. It's not the most expensive, crazy doohickeys on it. It's a solid frog. It works all the time. Always sharp hooks. Pretty soft body.
I will also say, not to be dogging on any company about any baits they make, but what was it, Debo? Just the other day I sent you a text.
Real quick, I will say, yeah, the stunners are a slow sink, but once you get into that colder water, they do almost suspend. They do sink still pretty slow, but the one I had sunk. But yeah, if you look at the package, they do say slow sink on them. So you are 100% right, Mike. I did need to clarify that. And that's perfect if you're fishing like a drop off, or if you're bank fishing and don't want to have like a real deep diving jerkbait. You can get those that dive, real slow, or that sink and slow, have a real slow fall rate to be able to cover that too, instead of having like a +1 or whatever they call them with a longer bill that might dive down to 10 feet. But if you're bank fishing, is casting out to that deep water is great. But as you're bringing it up to you where that bank is coming up to you, you're going to snag a ton of jerkbaits. So, yeah, good point, Mike. Thank you. So anyway, I'm sorry for jumping in there.
No, you're fine. What was it? Is it the Vega frog? Was that the one I sent you a couple texts about?
Yeah.
Because we had, there was a conversation. What was it? A couple lives back, we were talking about it. And I couldn't remember if it was the Vega frog or if it was another frog, but I had been having some luck, or at least getting some blow-ups at least. And I just out of nowhere, it just kind of dawned on me. I was using a Vega frog, and I sent Debo a text, and yeah, I kind of had the same issues of like a poor hookup ratio on them. And I tried bending out the hooks and, doing everything that I could, and still no luck. And then changed over to, Spro and started catching them.
Yeah, and I think Nick and a couple other people said, we were talking about that the other couple streams ago. The Vega frog kind of had a hookup ratio. You can bend, the hooks up, and that will up the hookup ratio of any frog, but you lose that weedless ability, so then you're oftentimes catching scum, or, if you're right around like cattails, or bringing it through that grass that's just kind of finger grass. I don't know what the hell you call it, but that grass that's just barely sticking up where you can still kind of weave it through it. A lot of times you're getting, stuck and snagged and bringing that through it. So it's, why not just go with a different frog? I don't know. But the Vega frog, I will say, walks extremely easy.
Oh, yeah. Very easily. Yep. I did actually see a good question. That's where I saw it. You pinned it right there.
Most expensive lure lost in a tree. I see I got another donation too. Make sure I get to that one. Mm-hmm. Did I skip a donation anywhere? I hope I did not.
I've only seen the two as of now.
Okay.
Wait, no, sorry. There is another one. There's probably 823 from Dave W. Did you hit that one?
What time?
823, I assume. I don't see timestamps for donations, but it's right in that time frame.
823. Let me scroll back, because when I jumped out, I don't know. It got rid of everything. What was the question? Did we get it?
There was actually no question. It was just a $5 donation. There wasn't a question. It was.
Who was it from? No, I didn't get that one.
Dave W.
Dave W. with the $5 bomb. Thank you, my friend. I appreciate you. No, once I hit back and jumped out of my stream like a dummy, it destroyed all that. So, dummy Debo moment. Sorry, guys. Okay, so most expensive lure lost in a tree. In a tree, I don't know, but I do know a day where Randy and I were fishing. I lost a plopper, whopper plopper. That's when they were like $16. You can find them on sale now usually, but still pretty new.
You didn't lose it. Pike swam off with it.
Oh yeah, he. I got him up to the dock, and he did his pike thing all crazy, like snapped the line. I didn't have a leader on, dummy me.
And Debo didn't have his turkey gloves on either.
Didn't have turkey gloves. Snapped it, and he just goes swimming off with a plopper half hanging out. I'm like, oh no, I hate that. So hopefully he shook it. Their mouths are pretty thin. They throw baits pretty easily. So I'm hoping he just kicked it and he's good.
Yeah, God, what I told you that day, we really needed, or you needed when you put the video out to like put a tracker or like a dollar loss.
I did on that one. That's the one.
Did you?
That's what I was gonna say. Yeah, so that's what I was gonna say. That day we each lost. I don't know how many lures. I remember I had a big topwater walking bait. It was one of the big spooks. I forget. It's not the super spook, is it? Whatever the big one is, like the 4.5-inch one. And I caught a couple fish on that, and then I backlashed and sent that sailing. It was just one of those days where like everything. I think we got up to like 50 some bucks of lost lures, like within.
Yeah, and I mean, I don't remember what kind of frog. I was like a scum frog tournament or something like that I had on there, and
somebody was asking about the combo SLX.
Caught a pike and freaking caught a pike, and it was in a process. I don't even know what happened, or maybe it was a bat. I don't even remember. And the next thing in the video, you're like laying on your back on the dock, and I'm just standing there like in utter shock.
Yeah, like, it was one of those days. 50 some bucks later, within an hour, 2 hours.
I think I would say I could probably I lose more money in like fishing jigs. Like on a bad jig fishing day, I can lose a lot more money than I can on sticking one expensive lure in a tree versus sticking it in a log or a rock or something like that. You know, because I can burn through. Go ahead.
Oh no, go ahead.
I was just gonna say I can burn through a dozen, $3 jigs in like no time whatsoever. Break off, frustration, throw, rod and reel combo, break off,
Yeah, that's rock life though. You fish rocks, you're gonna lose. It's like you have to know your tempting fate when you do that. But you can catch the hell of them. Liza, did I say a $150 reel was budget? I will say, like, to me, $100 is kind of that good budget-ish for your money point. I wouldn't necessarily call it budget, but I think that's the price where, like, the lowest price you can get where quality really takes a good step up with an aluminum frame. So if I said 150 was budget, I didn't necessarily mean that. But when you can get a $150 reel for $100, I think that's a good deal. So maybe that's what I meant. I don't know. Maybe you're not talking about me. Maybe somebody else said something, but IMA's the best jerkbait. Yeah. In my opinion, the best budget jerkbait is the Rapala ripstop. Yeah, I haven't fished those a lot. Randy likes those. Isn't that the one with the little tail on the back of it? It's got the little metal tail thing.
Or yeah, it's got the little, almost like a Chapo tail.
Yeah, it doesn't move. It's just a stationary.
Yep.
Let's see. So we're talking about. Oh man, we're still talking about jerkbaits. This is 8:28. We're at an hour. Let's see. Let's get a giveaway going here. Rapala. Oh gosh, Little Rich nailed it. Rapala Husky Jerk. If we're talking old school budget, you can still get those for you can find those on sale for like $6. The Rapala Husky Jerk, I will say, before the Lucky Craft. However, I didn't throw suspending. I only threw the floating of those, like what were they, 3.5, 4-inch, whatever those bigger ones were. But yeah, the Rapala Husky Jerks are absolutely awesome. I think I've still probably got some. I've got a silver. It was a black and silver one, and the blue one. I absolutely killed them all.
The black back with a little bit of red, and the rest of the body was silver. Is that what you're talking about?
So if I can't remember. One was like a bluish. want to say like a chrome. I don't have any idea what box they would be in. This is just all stuff thrown together.
What is the?
But I was going to show you one real quick. Yeah, I don't know. Here, we can look online real quick. Yeah, absolutely. The Husky Jerk is one that gets forgot about, and they do have the suspending. You just have to be careful when you look at the Rapala stuff because like all the packages look the same, but they'll have different colors, and they'll say on it if it's like suspending, floating, sinking.
Oh,
I
guess my real go-to for jerkbait is going to be the X-Wrap. Or wait, no, not the X-Wrap. I just saw it. Yeah, I guess it's just the X-Wrap, the one that comes with the feather on the rear treble. I've caught so many on that.
That's one I've thrown it a few times, but I've never. Okay, so Helsinki Ghost is one of them. That's the blue. It's got like an iridescent, awesome color in clear water. Oh crap! Thought I was. Thank you, Randy. This is why I have a Randizzle moderator. Okay, so the Helsinki Ghost, awesome color in cleaner water, and then the other one is like a shad. Oh, it's just silver. So it's this black and silver. Those two, I would say, clear water, and then kind of if you've got a little stain to it, especially if you've got some sun with the chrome. But those have been the two. The Helsinki shad's a good one just in like crankbaits. So I'd assume that should be a good opaque color when it's low light. But I can say for sure for me catching Helsinki Ghost and silver are really good. Dad likes the clown color a lot. Kind of the same deal with that chrome, chartreuse and red. But okay, let's get a giveaway going here. We will close that one out. We will go into
hashtag pillow time.
Hashtag pillow talk with Stubby Dog. In honor of the old Stubbins. Oh my gosh, there's already people that have put it in here. We're doing hashtag. Okay, hashtag Stubby. So for those of you joining, Stubby is my dog's name. He's upstairs now. He's no longer allowed down here. Hashtag Stubby. So it'll be some cool Thunderhawk lures that they sent over. Said give them away. I've got some handmade jigs that I made up. Then a couple other things for fall fishing will kind of be the deal for tonight, or fall transition fishing, I guess I should say.
What time are you at on your?
I'm at 8:30, so I am falling behind.
Yep, I was just gonna say at 8:35, there's another donation. Oh boy.
Okay, so that.
And you're probably gonna lose it pretty quick with all the stubbies coming in.
Yeah. Yep.
And then there's another also at 8:37.
Time for DEBO'S Iowa Lost Therapy. Yeah, that's going to be a reoccurring theme this year. I have a feeling.
Fat Boy did also say. Fat Boy said at 8:35 he also has hookup issues. I don't know if he was talking about with a Vega frog or just
he was. In general. Yeah. Because Nick was talking about it, and somebody else that live was talking about hookup issues. Okay, Frank with the $5 bomb. Was that the other? Did we call out Frank before?
I don't think so because it was Frank and Dave both. Nobody left. They didn't leave questions or anything like that. So,
well, Frank, I appreciate the $5 bomb. If you have a question, make sure you leave it. I'll try to make sure I'm getting to anybody that leaves a donation, a question. So I appreciate that, my friend, a lot. Let's see. What else do we have here? Most common. So people asking like lures I lose. Bassless Chap, most common lures you use but have to switch out hooks first. Since we're talking about fall fishing, hands down, Cotton Cordell Super Spot. Love those lipless. If you're banging around shallow cover, they are an awesome cheap lipless, but the hooks on them are absolute trash. Change out.
Literally, you open up the package and you're like, did somebody return this? Because these hooks look almost rusted to begin with.
Yeah, they're that weird like bronze, like they just don't even look right. Yeah. Pimpaw Fishing. Actually, we answered his question earlier. Oh, so we got to part of the question now that we're saying that. The frog, and then also our favorite buzzbaits. Buzzbait, I would say this year, hands down, has been that Hank Cherry I will switch over here quick. Just to show you. I've showed it on my videos before. If you've watched, y'all are probably already know what I'm talking about. But let's do stop sharing that one and then do share this one. And it's a Picasso.
Was that the? It's kind of like a smaller, more compact. Is that the one?
Yep, it's a smaller, more compact buzzbait, but it's made to be fished specifically with a plastic.
Oh.
So if you like to fish a frog, this has been a really good producer for me this year. Like I said, smaller buzzbait, but this part here, you can kind of see it better. This part is lead, and it's got a little like claw deal on it here. So once you thread this on, and like if you have like a horny toad, like a zoom horny toad or a speed toad, and push that up over it, this little lip kind of helps hold on and grab it. So the weight's all down on the bottom, so it does run pretty straight. I did still have to tune it a few times, but oh, there you go. So fluke, but I've always ran mine with the toad. But yeah, as it gets colder and you're starting to focus on like bait fish and stuff, a fluke is an awesome little trailer there. So otherwise, I would say Randy and I fished the War Eagle buzz baits. We've caught a bunch of fish on those.
What's the frog, the Strike King buzz toad?
Buzz toad, yep. Yeah, it comes with like with the frog and the buzz bait together.
Yep. Man, I'm actually kind of sick. This is going back to Creek and Trail at 840. Going back to the what did you lose in a tree that was most expensive? Blah blah blah. He said he lost 8 jackhammers and 12 crankbaits all at once.
I'm on that right
in
now.
His kayak. Oh my god.
Yuck! I'm sorry to hear that, brother.
That's like $1 million.
Yeah, that's like winning the lottery, losing the lottery right there.
Right.
Okay, stop sharing. Let's go back over to the giveaway. Where are we at? We better be past 150. We just hit 300 people in here watching.
Dang.
We're not at least 150 in here. Oh, we're at 155. All right, we got 300 people in here watching. Let's get that number up a little bit, and I'll do a giveaway here in a second.
125 likes and get a few more.
Can we get to 170? Dare I try to push it to 170? Let's see. We'll give it a couple minutes. We're still going to draw for a giveaway. You have to be present. I know I say that. Got to be present. Come on.
I don't know. Good job there, buddy. I don't know who said it, but somebody else made a comment of snagging their double-digit A-rig and a Christmas tree also. It was either $60 or $80. I mean, realistically, you get all the hooks and everything. Man.
Yeah, that's another bait I just have no confidence in. I've thrown them a couple times, but yeah.
I feel like we're kind of handcuffed too, because they don't really make A-rigs to suit what our laws are. So we have, a little bit of a downside. We have at least one bait that doesn't, the one or two, they usually come in four little arms is the least ones I've seen.
You know, can find a bunch of different ones. Actually, I'm going to get up. Somebody's going to call me on it. But so Hank, when I talked to Hank Bass Geek, we're at 163. 7 more people. # Stubby. We're going to do a giveaway. When I was talking to Hank Bass Geek, he's like, once you start seeing those fish up shallow and chasing bait, just think of it as like a big spinner bait. I'm like, oh, that's a good point. And he called out the company. I forget. Is it Brian? No. I'm going to blank on it. Let me see if I can find it, though. But it's like a small – I've showed him in unboxings. I fished it once. Didn't have any luck. Didn't fish anymore that day. But I've got to throw out more because I want to get some on it. But it's like a little small compact
printer? Oh, a
thermal printer. Somebody say thermal printer?
Thermal printer.
Oh, I found it. I knew I just was looking at this the other day.
Oh, it just happens to be right over here. Perfect area.
No, I was still organizing stuff down here that's half a mess. But, okay, this is it. I couldn't tell you the name of the guy that makes them, but this is all custom made. This piece actually unscrews so you can redo it. But this is the 2 hooks. So I did the bottom one because ideally you're fishing this above the fish. So I've got the bottom one and then the longer back one that I would bend down just a little bit. Hopefully they would eat those. These 3 would just have to be dummies. So this has 5 arms, and here in Iowa we can only have 2 hooks. So that's it. I mean, it's the size of my hand. It's a very small A rig, but it's even got 1, 2, 3, 4 little willow blades on it too, flashers. So
That's nice.
that's when I want to throw more. Yeah, kind of a cool little thing. Randy, I've got an extra one. We can throw those one day and see if we can find fish. But
awesome. I know I've had the little bait ball. I can never think of the name.
Live target.
But yeah, the live target. I've caught a bass on one of those once.
Okay, let's see. Let me jump over. What are we at for 172? All right. We are drawing for I am sharing, right? Yes. Drawing for the giveaway winner. You have to be present. Luckily, I don't think we've ever ran into that where we've drawn it and like, oh, that person's not here. We have to redo it. Cooler lid 120. Cooler, that's a sick yak setup, man. He's got the trolling motor and everything. Cooler lid, are you in here? Cooler lid's a good supporter. I guarantee he is still here, or she.
Thanks. Let's see.
People talking about jerkbaits.
So, as far as jerkbaits, is there a time? And I know you said that you like to use sinking every once in a while, or you. For me, I'm a suspending guy pretty much all the time. I mean,
so
well,
like when would I throw sinking versus suspending?
Yeah, I guess I'm only throwing a jerkbait in the spring and then really in the fall. So I guess I'm not in both of those times. I kind of want them to suspend there to kind of entice them a little bit more versus a sink or a float.
Yeah. So the thing is with like for me, when I'm thinking jerkbait, I'm gonna make sure cooler lid. Have you seen him yet? I'm back at 844 for comments. Cooler lid, are you here? I don't want to have to go.
Let me look. I'm looking. You keep doing your thing.
That's right. I just
oh yeah, down. Yep. He's here. 854. I'm here. He's here, Debo. Finally, you got one.
Okay. Cooler lid. Hey, I'm here. Finally won. Yay. My friend, you win. Okay, so send me an email, debosfishing@gmail.com. Include a screenshot of your YouTube so I know it's you, like where it shows it's your account. Include that screenshot and your address and stuff, and I will hook you up.
I totally need to get like I need to get a little thing like written up and just do like a announcery fast talk thing as soon as we get like a winner on any one of these things where I'm like blah blah blah, 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 you know what I mean? Never mind. What's that over there?
Are you talking about like an auctioneer? You want to be an auctioneer?
Yeah, well, no.
You know hey, I had a 4 at the end of the green. Do I have 70?
Like if they do stuff on TV, like if you're gonna order something on TV or whatever, they go and they do the fast speak thing at the very end to get in all the legality stuff.
Something not included and all that.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Okay, where are we going? Now that we've derailed into Never Land, what the hell were we talking about? Oh, jerkbait. Okay, so sinking jerkbait. So perfect example was this spring. I didn't want to use a deep diving jerkbait because a lot of the deep diving jerkbaits that I have, I think, go down to like 9 or 10 feet, like the +1 type deals. So I was using that stunna and I was fishing. For me, it was keeping it right over the grass. The fish were in that good green grass this spring. Instead of using like a floating jerkbait that'll go down and I could get it to that grass, usually later in the summer. Philip Cheek's a big fan of that, that it's going to rise up. This one, I would get it down, but instead of getting it down into that grass where it was stuck, I would just kind of let it slowly sink down to the tops of that grass and rip it. And it was just barely slowly touching that and coming up over it, as opposed to going with one that would dive 3 feet down more where it just keeps getting stuck in that grass. Then you're ripping it out of there. That's how I've used it. Or if you're fishing like drop-offs, points and stuff, where you want to start slow and then let it, slowly sink by itself if they're hitting it on the sink. But that's kind of the deal behind, and I'm not a jerkbait aficionado, but that's how I've used it.
I know in the past, Debo, we've touched on this briefly, and I think you said no, but I've on occasion had like a tungsten putty, the tungsten putty weight or whatever. And this was a long time ago when I first started messing around with jerkbaits to kind of get those to evenly suspend and things like that. Realistically, I just wasted my money because I didn't really know what the hell I was doing, and I ended up putting on way too much and then having to take it off, and it got messy, and I'm pretty sure I got some kind of disease from it. I have no idea, but
Yeah, I've never messed with those. I think I've got like an old pack of the stickers, but they're like the little lead sticker things you pull off,
oh
and they're
yeah,
like little dot things, suspending dots, I think
hmm
they call them. But I've never really messed with those a ton. Like I've got specific suspending jerk baits, and they will change like as the water gets colder. I think as the water gets warmer, they sink more. As the water gets colder, they'll suspend more. So they can vary. Even a suspending jerk bait will vary depending on the water temperature. That's another thing to kind of keep in mind. But yeah, I don't know what other things I want to talk about. But let's see. We're an hour 20. Let us know what questions you've got, whether it's fall fishing. Let's get into some gear questions. Let's do if you have fall like lure questions, like for like what rod reel line,
oh
anything like that. We haven't gotten any real good gear stuff yet.
speaking, I guess you can kind of call this gear Creek and Trails 858. More of a question for everybody, not just you or I, but it would be more towards you. What's everyone's favorite treble hook to replace old broken trebles, specifically number 6 or larger? I'm going to answer by saying I have no idea what any of that means other than treble hook. I have a bunch of replacements, but I always feel like for me, it's like instant bad luck, karma stuff. Like for whatever reason, I change out my treble hooks and that thing's getting stuck in like a branch or rocks or DEBO'S leg or anything like that.
Yeah, you're good at hooking me. Like 3 or 4 times you've done that.
Once.
So I would say like if you want the best, an owner ST36 is just a round bend, regular treble hook that's amazingly sharp. They are a little bit more expensive, but like I've said before, go to like Lure Parts online and get the value packs of them instead of buying like the regular like 10 or 8 packs, whatever they come in. Gammy hooks, same thing. Gamakatsu round bend hooks are really good. You can go to like a Mustad triple grip. I don't like those as much for jerk baits. I have used them, but I usually like a round bend more. I feel like things that they're going to slap at or just kind of grab at. And what I mean, I guess the difference I can show you here, like this on a square bill, a crankbait where they really eat it, I will use these. If it'll focus, those are EWG hooks. See how it's a real short shank? The eye of that hook in relation to the bend of these, it's real short, and those the actual hook pieces are bent kind of up and in. See how it's pointing kind of up and in toward the eye of the hook? Those are an EWG, as opposed to Strike King does definitely not put the best hooks on their baits. But they're all right. That is a round bend hook. So this is going to be a number,
Sure.
that's a number 2 round bend short shank. And then you've got like just the regular ones where this shank is what they're talking about here from the eye to like the bottom of the hook. They'll make these larger where it's not as short. That's usually what I tend to put on like a ST36 or like a regular Gamakatsu round bend.
Do you ever get into like different sized hooks on front versus back, say like on a jerkbait or a crankbait, or if you're gonna change them, you're gonna put the same on front and back?
Usually I do the same. I know there are people asking about nose down, but you can see how the eye of that hook is up more, and it's got more of that piece in the middle that hangs down. That's usually what I like on jerk baits like this when they're just kind of coming up and slapping at it. You've got more of that hook open. Like there you can see more of that hook open. You like that?
Yeah.
What if I remember I always used to do this with like the dead part of your thumb. I always used to do this with staples when you're young. You'd be like, oh no, I got a staple in me.
I stuck a staple, or like a push pin, or like a
yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't play with like different sizes a ton. I usually like number 4 is probably your biggest all around. If you're looking for hooks, number 4 is going to be the most used on all of them. 6 is a little bit smaller, but
So kind of related to, there's a 9
yeah,
o'clock,
David, owner number 6s, yeah.
9 o'clock question from
Owners,
Patrick.
owners,
Debo, how do you
owners.
determine if your setup is balanced well? So as I was saying, do you put, different sizes could throw off the balance? This is more the actual rod reel combo. How do you determine whether it's balanced well? Is that something you pay a lot of attention to, or you're just more of this is how I like it to feel in my hand when I cast it and fish it? Then it could be totally tip heavy or totally, reel heavy.
What time was that one?
9 o'clock, I think.
Got it, Pat.
Yep.
Okay, so this one, I'm going to cut the tags off that you're going to see here. We're going to see how well this is balanced. This will change, and this is something I kind of chuckle with because, like, I've shown it in things before, and people are like, oh, this person said if you look at just the balance of a rod, that's stupid. It means nothing. And, I mean, that's kind of true because it's going to depend on what reel you put on it. So this one's not horrible. It's a little bit tip heavy, but the closer you can get that balance point back here to, like, the reel nut in your reel, the less tip heavy it's going to feel in hand. Now this one doesn't feel bad. That one's just a little bit above or in front of that, about where the hook hanger is. That's not bad at all. When I put this on my hand, I don't feel like I'm fighting it. But there's some of them as that balance point kind of moves out. Like I love Kistler rods, but like the Argon, I want to say I have another. I know the Argon for sure is pretty tip heavy. And some companies, that's just kind of the way they run. What the hell is that new? Speaking of American Legacy, I bought a used G Loomis. It's like one of the $200 rods, but I'm like, man, this rod's pretty damn tip heavy. Like I wasn't overly impressed. And some companies just kind of run a little bit tip heavy. So it really is up to you. Like when Gary Dobbins, I would urge anybody, I've talked about this a few times, but go back and watch the Gary Dobbins live on the Hellabass channel. He had a bunch of really good information. Obviously, he's the owner of Dobbins, so they talked about Dobbins rods, but he talked about how he kind of goes for balance, and that's a big thing because you could have $1,000 rod and reel, but if it's not comfortable in hand, and for some people that really focus on balance, if it's really tip heavy and you're fighting it the whole time, you'll easily go to a cheaper, more comfortable, more balanced combo that feels good to fish all day, right? So that was one thing that Gary Dobbins talked about was, trying to get a really good blank, the best that he could for the money into it, and balancing really well. So,
and it's like one of those things where you like to have it in hand before you buy it.
Yep.
To get the feel of it.
And stay off my damn lawn, says Randy.
You damn kids! I just mowed that lawn. Get off.
Chris, which SLX rod is this? This is the brand new SLX. This is the, whoops. I want to say 7.2. 7.2, upside down here. 7.2, medium heavy, extra fast, 10 to 20 pound line, rated for lures, 1/4 to 3/4. So it's a pretty soft, medium heavy, but it feels good in hand. I like how this is one thing that I really like. I don't know why companies overcomplicate everything going on down here. I love that it's just pretty much flat and there's nothing there. So like when I grab this, I have my pinky behind the reel trigger, hold it here, and it's just like that. And it's just all flat and fits nicely. So yeah, it feels good in hand. I like it. As long as Dad doesn't steal it.
Hey Devo, how's that fish tank doing? We got a fish tank update?
Oh, fish tank update. I didn't see Frank on here. Frank, if you're here, I don't know that you've said anything, and maybe I've missed you. So I was talking to Frank. Frank is an awesome subscriber. We'll probably end on this. Frank is an awesome subscriber, was in the aquarium business, has been helping me with it. Let's see. So I caught 2 green sunfish. The day after catching, one of them died. He completely just croaked. Of the like 18 minnows that old gal at she wasn't even old. I don't know why I said old gal. The lady at Fleet Farm gave me. I asked her for like 6 or 8 minnows. hopefully she's like, oh, I gave you a third of a scoop, so I got like 20 minnows. Of those, I think 3 are still alive. So not looking great on the tank.
Okay,
but...
so I mean, this is nobody was asking about it. I just wanted to ask you about it because I hadn't heard. I'm like that. Part of that also has to do with just the stress of you're taking it from the fleet farm to your house, and they're like, "What the hell is going on? I was somewhere, and now I'm going. So, what's happening? New water, all that stuff." So, I mean, part of that's kind of
well. So the way that it was explained to me is it's not as big of a deal if you have an established tank, but like for mine with no fish in it, so no nitrogen levels, no like all the different things that are in a tank to cycle it. I was starting completely fresh with no fish, drop minnows in, drop the green sunfish in. He's like, yeah, you got to cycle it with fish first, or like you can artificially do it. But so he said that's a large part of it's not necessarily the stress, like they can handle that. But the other thing is like the minnows that you get from there are in a tank, crowded, already stressed, already like crap quality, I guess I could say. And you don't know how old they are anyway. So I wasn't really upset about the minnows because it's like they're just feeder minnows anyway. I didn't expect them to last too long. The green sunfish I was definitely upset about because I was like, oh, my girls, but they named them.
Oh God, did they named them already?
They named them as soon as we put them in. My oldest daughter named hers Chocolate Chip. And my other one, my youngest daughter, named hers Fudge Stripe. So old Fudge Stripe, old Fudge Stripe bit the dust, and I had to explain to my girls how Daddy killed one of the sunfish after having it only a day. So my youngest asked me, she's like, "You only had it in there a day. How did you kill it?" And my other daughter was like, crying. I'm like, "Oh Jesus, I'm a horrible dad." So it's not been the best start, I guess I'll say.
You should have probably had some crawlers in there and maybe a leech or two. Fishing the Southeast, RIP Fudge Stripe. Hashtag.
There's Frank. So it's been a deal, Frank. I appreciate you holding my hand, walking me through this. And it's like I've told him, like I've had fish, but it's always been like a 10-gallon with like some tetras and easy stuff. Never done anything like this. This is I think a 45-gallon. So I don't know. Yeah, rip Fudge Stripe, old Fudge. And man, I felt so horrible too. She's like, "How did you kill him in a day?" I'm like, "Oh man."
So like realistically, wait, hold on real fast. So if anybody wants to know what that looks like, just picture Debo without a beard and actual tears running. Yeah, no, your youngest daughter, her crying.
Oh.
That is DEBO'S. I could see your daughter crying by you just making that face a second ago.
Oh, Stubby, knock it. Your tail is a lethal weapon. Oh, kisses from the Stubbins dog.
It's pillow time.
Yeah, listen, you stay away from that pillow, Mr. Dog. So hopefully we'll get that up and going here. I have high hopes. I did water changes. We talked about doing water changes and stuff, but anyway, yeah, I'm so excited too because it's like so relaxing just sitting there watching it, and I really want to get into the feeding. But the other part, I'm like, this other sunfish won't even eat, and he's probably like, well, it's probably stressed the hell out. It's probably watched all these other fish just die in front of its face. No, he didn't say that. But he's like, yeah, he's like, it's stress, moving it to a tank that's not established, completely different looking thing. So it's, I don't know.
Great.
I was a little let down.
Murder Tank. Awesome. This is where I live now. Murder Tank USA. Cool.
We can put the next plan was to Randy. We're gonna have to go get 2 crawfish, and then we'll tape swords and shields to their claws and let them fight to the death, or just see which one
we could
dies
get those
first.
We can get those little cocktail swords.
Cocktail swords, boom, and then we'll see which one lives the longest in the death tank. And it's just gonna be a new series of what can survive in DEBO'S horrible death tank.
2 craws enter, 1 craw stays in there, but is the winner.
Oh man! Well, since we've already derailed, Stubby's down here not attacking the pillows. Stubbins, you can't find those pillows anymore, can ya? That I had those. Look at how sad he is. You want to show these people how sad you are? Oh, how sad is it I took away all your pillows.
I don't know
boy.
who said it, but somebody mentioned earlier, just wait until old Stubbers finds that thermal printer and replaces those pillows with it.
Dude, Matthew. So I was looking. So okay. So here's the thing. Once you go down the rabbit hole in YouTube, I was looking up like keeping, what do they call it, native fish or whatever. Dude, I was looking up freaking videos of mantis shrimps. If you've never seen these things, they are mean little dudes. Yeah, if this thing entered the death tank, nothing would live. But like this dude had like a glass vial. He's like this something. I don't remember what it was. Something. The hell, what do they call it? Crab, something crab. And he's like putting it down there, and the thing's like hitting it with his claws. Then he's like he puts it in the mantis shrimp tank, and this mantis shrimp hits it so hard it breaks the glass like vial. Dude, they're mean as hell.
I don't even like the way these things look.
Yeah, dude, they're weird looking little things. They're creepy. Yeah.
Why are they so colorful?
I don't know. They're beautiful, but they'll rip your face off. Anyway, yeah, definitely will not be having any mantis shrimp. So I don't know. So hopefully I can get that going. I was even excited because my wife, Michelle, we were talking, and I'm like, yeah, if these two green sunfish grow bigger, I'm gonna have to get like 100-gallon or something, maybe a 250, and we can do a wall. She's like, well, let's just see how this one goes first. I'm like, honey, it'll be fine.
I was just gonna say, have you ever heard of counting your chickens before they're hatched?
Yeah, and then like 2 days after, she's like, how's your tank doing down there? She's like, I think one of your fish is dead, or this is like the next day, whatever, day and a half. She's like, I think one of your fish is dead. I'm like, I go down there, I'm like, son of a. I'm like, no, he's just sleeping, honey.
It's 48 minutes later. She's like, one's dead already.
She probably did it. She probably sabotaged my tank, put bleach in it or something. So, okay, well, listen, we digress, folks. Maybe we need to do another members only and talk about fish tanks. We'll do part of the members only will be, Dave says, stubby lure. I could paint it like him. I could never carve a stubby dog lure, but where was it even going? Oh, I was saying maybe we need to have a members only, and every members only we start with the death tank updates to see what's survived in the tank of death.
I just don't like the fact that you just told me about mantis shrimp, because I just looked at a video and
oh my
I don't
God,
like
Frank.
They have those little things underneath.
Dude, they're weird as hell looking. Frank said stupid but cool. Mantis shrimp often accidentally get introduced to saltwater tanks when people add live rock. People wake up and they're missing a fish every day. Dude, they're mean as hell. Yeah, I'd never heard of them, but
the call is coming from inside the fish tank. Get out now.
Get out now. The call's coming from inside the tank. All right, listen, all. We have gone clear down into the depths of I don't even know what on derailments. But I love y'all. Thanks for we've still got 250 people in here. We're talking about mantis shrimps and death tanks. So I don't know. Listen, all. I love you all. We will be here again next Saturday night. Probably I'll be crying again. My eyes will be red after another Iowa loss. Maybe we'll get more than one touchdown. Who knows? But love y'all. Thanks for watching. And until next live.